Hello, my loves, and happy Scorpio season, the season of death and rebirth, the season of shedding the old to embrace the new. This is such a potent time. Anytime we're talking about self healing, anytime we're talking about manifestation, autumn is always going to be that time of year where we kind of dive into the energy of releasing the things that have been weighing us down through the year as we go through our lives, as we go along our journeys. We pick up stories and habits and just energies along the way. And so autumn is always the time of like releasing the old before that time of hibernation for the winter, which we'll get there. But right now is the time that we are really focusing on shedding all of the physical and energetic and emotional weights that have been weighing down on us, not just over the course of the last year, but like the lifetime, right? Like that's the whole point of like a self-healing journey, a manifestation journey, is that there's layers. And this is such a powerful time to dive into this energy of releasing the old to make room for the new. So, Scorpio is a fixed water sign ruled by Pluto. So, fixed signs are when you break down the seasons of the year, right? Basic seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. When you break those seasons down, in each season you have three astrological signs. And those three signs, the first one is going to be the cardinal sign, the sign that takes action and like moves the story forward. The second sign is going to be the mutable or the fixed sign, and the fixed signs are going to be the signs that are a little more focused on exactly what you're going through at that time. So that's where we're at with Scorpio season. It's very like right now focused. And then we have the mutable signs, which will be Sagittarius for autumn. And mutable signs are the signs that integrate all of those lessons, integrate everything that we've gone through that season, and use it to expand into the next. So right now we are very focused on the here and now. And then Scorpio is not only a fixed sign, but a water sign. So water signs are going to be all about our emotions, all about our intuition, getting really in touch with like finding flow through our lives, flow through the universe. And when we have a water sign that's fixed, right? So we're like very present in the here and now. That's why we really feel those intense emotions that Scorpio has during this time. And keep in mind that all of these things are going to play out in your life differently depending on where Scorpio is in your birth chart. But for the collective, because it is Scorpio season, that means that the sun is in the sign of Scorpio, and the sun in astrology rules our outer reality, how we move through our days, how we interact with the collective, and what is happening to us outwardly. So, outwardly throughout the course of Scorpio season, which is mid October to mid November, we're going to be feeling these energies of like really intense emotions because Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. So, Pluto is the planet of like, it is like, the last planet of the solar system, right? The last planet. And so that what that represents is like our past and our pains and our traumas and the things that we hold like really close to the chest and kind of like hide away. So that's where like Scorpio gets this like stereotype that it is very they get like the stereotype of like being like really passionately angry or just like overall kind of like right, you think of like the scorpion and it's got that stinger. The scorpion is the symbol for Scorpio, and the scorpion has that stinger, and it comes at you fast and it comes at you quick, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad. So what that means in translating that to our energy and how we approach that energy throughout this Scorpio season, this month of intense energy, this intense energy that has to do with things from our past and wounds and holding like secrets, things that we're passionate about close to our chest. Scorpio season is the time to like not be afraid of those kinds of energies. It's the time to dive deep into those energies and emotions and finding flow and intuition within those things and using them as turning those things, not releasing the story that they happened. You don't want to gaslight yourself, but releasing the weight that they carry and like hold you back. So if there's any like really intense shadows or stories that have kept you from moving forward in your life, Scorpio season is the perfect time to like feel the feels around those things and then transmute that pain into power. It's about like the phoenix, for example, like burning down and rebirth, like coming up new and like spreading your wings and finding power in the fact that you have that story that you've lived through. So that is really like Scorpio season in general. That's what we're going to be going through. Intense emotions, intense intuition, intense energy, intense like feeling the feels and turning that pain into power. TLDR. Um, this Scorpio season, particularly Scorpio season 2024, there's a lot of kind of, there's a lot of like tricky stickiness going on, which has been going on for honestly the majority, the majority of 2024, because astrology has not been super smooth sailing as far as this year goes. Um, but it's still something to talk about, even though it's something that we've been experiencing and navigating throughout the entire year. It's still something to talk about, considering um, because Scorpio season in and of itself is already such a transformative time of year. So first of all, we've got Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter retrograding all month. First and foremost, let's put that up front. And anytime a planet goes retrograde, it is not the boogeyman. You do not need to be afraid of a retrograde if you approach them consciously. What a retrograde is whatever energies and themes that planet rules, when that planet goes retrograde, we're going to be coming up on some hiccups around those themes. So it is an opportunity to like slow down and rethink those themes in our lives. So Neptune is the planet of dreams, fantasies, and illusions. So we're rethinking our relationship to our wildest dreams, rethinking our relationship to like things that keep us dissociated from the present. Uranus retrograding has us rethinking our personal revolution and how that plays out in our lives. And Jupiter being retrograde is a time to like maybe think twice before trying to expand or grow on anything. With Jupiter being the planet of like expansion, magnifying. We want to make sure that things that we're working on growing, we're like crossing our T's and dotting our I's and making sure that everything feels aligned as we are expanding on those things. So that's all Scorpio season. So let's break down first. Let's just go week by week. We're going to start with moon phases. So we start off this Scorpio season on October 24th with a last quarter moon in Leo. So a last quarter moon is a lot like Scorpio season in general. So it's the phase of the moon. We had the full moon the week prior, right? So now where that energy, that peak full moon energy is beginning to wane. So a last quarter moon is the time where as that energy kind of slows down, we're getting into the depths of our emotions and releasing what no longer serves to make room for the following week, the new moon in Scorpio, which is a time to set intentions. That's a good time for any manifestation rituals. So on November 1st, we have the new moon in Scorpio. When you're setting intentions and manifesting during a new moon in Scorpio specifically, really focus on like leaning into the parts of you that feel taboo, leaning into the parts of you that you're like really passionate about, but maybe kind of like hide behind closed doors. Lean into those things as you're manifesting, because those will be clues as to where you can grow and like further that manifestation journey. I will say the next day after the new moon, Mercury is entering Sagittarius. Mercury is the planet of like communications, and Sagittarius is like growth, expansion, abundance. So we're going to be having conversations around like spontaneity and knowledge and things of that nature. Mars is entering Leo on November 4th. We love Mars for when we want to start something new and do it really boldly and be really aggressive in our pursuits of something. But Mars is also the planet of like aggression and conflict and combat. So when Mars is entering the sign of Leo, Leo is the sign of like your sense of self. You might feel a little more conviction and like you're right about things as you get into arguments and conflicts. It could also, if you use it consciously, you can use Mars in Leo to pursue things for yourself. Like, if you wanted to like get into speaking gigs or any content creators, if you wanted to get really aggressive about your content and putting yourself out there, Mars and Leo is a good time for that, especially because, so that's on the 4th that Mars enters Leo. And then on the 8th, November 8th, we have the first quarter moon in Aquarius. And the first quarter moon, right? Because the week prior we had the new moon where we're setting intentions and manifesting. Then we have the first quarter moon. As that energy is beginning to build, the first quarter moon is the time to take action, to put in the blood, sweat, and tears to bring that manifestation to fruition. So, so the first quarter moon is a good time for self-love and empowerment as you pursue those manifestations. And when a first quarter moon, that energy building is in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of being really dedicated to who you are and your uniqueness. So again, like the theme of this month is like really digging into the parts of yourself that you've felt, like especially with the first quarter moon in Aquarius, like what parts of you have you felt are kind of like outcast, and using those energies to move your manifestation forward. On November 11th, Venus is entering Capricorn. Venus is the sign of like beauty and love. And relationships. So when Venus enters Capricorn, Capricorn is the sign of like diligent planning and executing things one step at a time. So we're really focusing on being really diligent in our relationships, diligent in our how we take care of ourselves, in our love and beauty, and in our relationships, and making sure that we're not doing anything like super rash, and we're approaching our relationships from a more grounded perspective. And then on November 15th, we have our full moon in Taurus, and then Saturn goes direct. So Saturn has been retrograde for a couple months, and when Saturn has been retrograde, it has us rethinking our routines and our structures, right? We jokingly say Big Daddy Saturn, because it's like it's very like authoritarian in its approach to things. Like think like the Emperor in tarot. And when Saturn has been retrograding, it causes us to like scrap our routines and make a new one, which can be really exciting to rethink those things. But also, while Saturn is in retrograde, it makes it hard to get those routines to flow. They feel clunky. So with Saturn direct on the 15th, the same day as the full moon in Taurus, it's going to allow those routines and things to flow a little smoother. And with the full moon occurring in the sign of Taurus, the full moon being the time of like authenticity and like a culmination of your inner child, present self, higher self, it's a lot of energy around being really authentic and every part of you coming to the surface. That's why, like, when people say that like people are acting out of pocket on the full moon, what it is they're actually just being authentic, because the masks that they wear, there's no hiding yourself during a full moon. And when the full moon is in the sign of Taurus, we're like being really dedicated to our like our physical existence in a like very loving, gentle kind of like devoted to like a lavish life kind of style. So during the full moon in Taurus, we're probably focusing on, especially now that Saturn will be direct that same day, a lot of focus will be like, how can I work um how can I work a luxurious, lavish lifestyle into my routine and allow divine downloads to come through, like when I'm caring for myself, and making sure that your routine creates space for that kind of energy. Pluto has been a brat all of 2024, but it does enter, and it has been direct since Libra season. So hallelujah, because that's why most of 2024 has been a pain. Pluto is going to be leaving Capricorn for good and entering Aquarius on November 19th. Hallelujah. Pluto, like I was saying, is that planet of secrets and wounds, and when it goes to retrograde, it causes a lot of that stuff to bubble up and us to like address a lot of our old insecurities, get louder and things like that. So when it's entering Aquarius, this marks a generational transit. So Pluto is a very slow moving planet. And so this is like a generation is going to feel the effects of Pluto in Aquarius. And it's really about being revolutionary about your pains and your traumas and your wounds, and using those wounds to turn that into your revolution, evolution, self-healing growth journey. And then we close out Scorpio season this year with another last quarter moon in Leo. So 2 last quarter moons in Leo. We start Scorpio season with one and we end Scorpio season with one. So we're really doing that shadow work. We're really doing that energy cleansing across this Scorpio season. Just doing another, it's going to echo that last quarter moon on the 24th of October. So just be really gentle with yourself. And as you move through Scorpio season this year, just kind of really focus on cleansing your energy, being really gentle, and like being conscious of every single, because here's the thing. If you approach the astrology of this Scorpio season blindly, without this kind of like awareness and consciousness around what's going on cosmically and inwardly, right? Like as within, so without, as above, so below. What's going on cosmically, it's going to affect us, whether or not we're conscious about it. And the power comes from recognizing what's going on in your life and being really in touch with how you can turn those moments into something transformative. And that's really that death and rebirth energy of Scorpio season as a whole. So with all that being said, if you need guidance through any of this energy, any guidance through cleansing your physical and energetic bodies, please be sure to check out the resources that I've included below. And join the lunar bath ritual movement. It is such a powerful way to not only be conscious about how you move through the cosmic ballet, but to really transform and heal all of the parts of you that you have carried, and turn that pain into power and manifest from the place of loving yourself on a universal, unwavering level. So be sure to check out the resources below, like and follow for more of these seasonal astrology updates and bath ritual tips. Okay, love you, bye.